What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another math puzzle. In this one, the question is as follows. Numbers 1 through 9 are to be placed in the following grid, with each number being used only once. And the clues that are given are as follows. 4 numbers are in the correct columns, but incorrect squares. No numbers are in the correct rows. That's up here for this box. 2 numbers are in the correct columns, but incorrect squares. 1 number is in the correct row, but incorrect square. Okay, last one. No numbers are in the correct columns, but 5 numbers are in the correct rows, but incorrect squares. A lot of information. Go ahead, hit that pause button and see if you can figure it out. When you're ready, hit play, and I'll give you the explanation. Also, quick shout out to Mind Your Decisions. That's where I got this version of this puzzle. So, super cool puzzle. Thank you for sharing, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to solve it. All right, so as I'm doing this now, I haven't even looked at the answer or looked at the way that anybody else has tried to solve it. So I'm literally solving it for the first time in real time right now. So as I see all of these, right, I see things about columns and rows and all this stuff, right? And so I'm going to start by writing out the possibility for each column in each row and then slowly start eliminating values. So we're going to see if that strategy works. Let's write that out now. All right, so now you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 as viable options. Let's see what we can eliminate now. So looking at this first clue, it says no numbers are in the correct rows. So that means 5 and 6 cannot be in the first row, 4 and 7 can't be in the second row, and 2 can't be in the third row. Now, of this top portion, it says 4 numbers are in the correct columns but incorrect squares. So I don't know which 4 yet are those correct ones. So we're going to hold on that, maybe circle back to this one later. Let's put a star there. Okay. Now I'm going to jump down to the third clue because I can see that I can do some nice elimination here because it says no numbers are in the correct columns. So 8 and 7 are clearly not in this first column. So let's cross off 8 and 7. And then we've also got 2 and 1 that cannot exist here. And last but not least, 5 and 4 can't exist in this third column. All right, now let's take a deeper look back at clue number 2. So it says 2 numbers are in the correct columns, but incorrect squares. So let's focus on this first. So these 2 numbers that are in the correct columns, for example, it cannot be 4 and 5. And I'm going to tell you why, because if 4 and 5 are in the correct columns, that means they're both in the incorrect columns here. But that's not what it says. Here it says 4 numbers are in the correct columns. There's only one that's incorrect. So that means that 4 and 5 cannot both be the 2 correct. Now, I don't know, maybe 4 is, maybe 5 is, but not both of them together. But what that means is that 3 must be in this column, right? It must be one of the correct values. So 3 is definitely in this first column. Now, what that also means is that since 5 or 4 must be correct and one of them must be incorrect, right? These are the 2 potential ones that one of them must be wrong, which means that 6, 7, and 2 are all in the correct columns as well. So we're going to also say 2 has to be in the first column, 6 has to be in the second column, and 7 has to be in the third column. Now, he also says that 1 number is in the correct row but incorrect square. So this number that is in the correct row, it cannot be 3. Because if 3 was in the correct row, it's also in the correct column, which means it's in its right spot. But it says none of them are in the correct squares, which you see here and here. So that means 3 is not in this bottom row. Now, also coming down to this one right here, we did say that 4 cannot be in the third column. So that means 4 is not the one that is in the correct column. 3 and 5 are in the correct columns. So now I know that 5 must go here, but then that means that 4 is the odd one out. That means 4 has to be in the first row. So 4 is probably the one that's correctly in the right row. Now, since we know that 4 has to be in the first row, we can see that the incorrect row, since it's only 1 that is in the incorrect row, the other 5 are in the correct row, has to be 4, right? Because 4 here is shown in the third row. We just decided that 4 has to be in the first row. So the 4 is the incorrect one. So all the rest are correct. That means in the second row, we must have 8, 2, and 5. And then we have as well 7 and 1 in this third column, right? 4 we already said is in the top one. All right. Now we can start to make some nice progress. So since I see a 7 in the third row and a 7 in the third column, the only viable option then is 7 right here. So we got our first placement. We know that 7 is in the bottom right. Now I know that 1 has to go on this bottom row, but since 1 is excluded from the second column, right? We already crossed it off here. 1 has to go right here. So now we've gotten 2 numbers that we got in place, 1 and 7. Now I see that 2 has got to be on the second row. I also see that 2 has got to be in the first column. So that makes sense that 2 has got to go here. And since I see 5 in the second column, 5 in the second row, right? Second row, second column, 5 has got to go right in the middle. Beautiful. Now the last number in this second row has to be 8, which means 8 goes right here, and then we got a completed row. Now, since we've also shown up here that the number that is in the incorrect column is that 5, right? Because 5 is listed here, but 5 really goes in column 2. Everything else must be in the right column. Well, if 4 is in the correct column, but in the wrong row, and we know that 4 must be in the first row, 4's got to go up top. Now that 4 is here, I can say that this remaining 6, which has to be over here and hasn't been put in yet, has to go right here. All right, we got 2 numbers left, 3 and 9. I already said that 3 has to be in this first column, so 3's got to go here. And last but not least, 9 must go here. That's it, guys. Very, very difficult puzzle, but that's how you do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this math puzzle, and if you did, please click that like button. If you want to see more math puzzles on the regular, make sure to click subscribe. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.